Alright, hey guys, my name is CJ, and today I'm back with more Little Nightmares. In this video here, I'll be showing you guys how to go ahead and get the Heart to the Core achievement. By far the most difficult achievement in the entire game, okay? This achievement drove me almost insane, okay? I attempted it over the course of a week or two, and my goodness, let me tell you something, it was intense. Every single hour was grueling, every attempt was a new power that I didn't know that I had within myself, okay? Hours past, days past, weeks past, years past. I lost about 15, 20 kilos while trying to do this, but I eventually did it, and let me tell you something, it was exhilarating once I did, okay? So I would say this is a worthwhile achievement to get. Look, it's not that difficult, okay? It's difficult, but I'm just exaggerating a bit here, okay? I won't lie, I did get quite angry while while attempting this, but it wasn't that bad. You know, like I said, it is most definitely the most difficult achievement in the entire game. Compared to the other achievements, they're relatively simple. This one, it will take you the longest, okay? Because, you know, from start to finish, and every single attempt will count toward how many hours and days and years you spend trying to get this achievement unlocked, okay? Now, what it entails is completing the game start to finish without dying once in under an hour. Now, on paper, that sounds really easy. It sounds easy, okay? Doing it, however, is a new test of patience like you've never seen before in your life, okay? Like I said, every attempt showed me, you know, new strength that I didn't know that I had in me. You know, every new attempt was a moment where I was like, okay, I'm definitely a new person now. And let me tell you something, my eyes have been opened to the wonders of the world after getting this achievement, okay? Now in this video, I'll be showing you guys, like I said, how to go ahead and get it, and give you some tips on how I got through this, okay? So, one of the tips that I can give you is what speedrunners do, is when playing this game, jump, okay? Especially if you're running out of stamina, just jump. Okay, jumping can make you travel a lot farther and a lot quicker than just normal running and sprinting, okay? Especially if you're running out of stamina. By the way, I want to point out what I did there. In that area, there was a black puddle that I went to the right of, and I went around it, okay? That's very important to remember that whilst you're playing this, you want to avoid slowing down at all times. So avoid puddles, avoid broken glass and stuff like that, okay? You don't want to slow down at all, because every single second counts, okay? In this, I was really cutting it fine. This achievement unlocked for me, I was just on the edge of unlocking it, okay? I was actually very lucky, because, see, what I did, each attempt, what I did was I would put my phone down, and I would set a timer, you know, to see if I could get through the game in under an hour. Eventually I did, but as I reached the end, the timer went off, and I was like, okay, am I still going to get it? And thankfully I did, which is what you're seeing here. So, you know, it was quite, I wouldn't say it was that bad. You know, it was relaxing to play because, I put the timer on, I played some music in the background, you know, some of my favorite songs and stuff, just, you know, getting into the zone so I can really focus, okay? But good grief, some of the moments in this where I just died to bullshit, really made me lose my shit, okay? Oh yeah, and you want to sort of take as many shortcuts as you can, like I did there, jumping from there onto the stairs. And by the way, at the end of this, I will show you all of my deaths. Well, not all of them, but some of them. So you can see where exactly I died, and, you know, the nonsense that can kill you. Like, the glitches and the shoddy controls and stuff like that can really, really screw you over as you're playing this. You know, the depth of field also, the depth perception is also not great, so it's difficult to sort of gauge where you're standing and where you're turning and stuff. And trust me, if you're running into a wall while you're going through vents and stuff, it can slow you down a lot, and it is so frustrating. Sorry about that. Okay. So yeah, and you want to make sure to go through doors without pushing them open all the way, because you can squeeze through that section just fine, and you won't have to close them again to get to this section here. Okay. So yeah, that's a. I feel like it's a given thing to understand. Now, like I said, this will take you many attempts. You can't just do this, one shot. Okay, it is gonna take you a while. If anybody out there has done this in one attempt, literally just one attempt, after they've played the first game, I commend you. Okay, I clap to you, I kowtow to you, bro. I give you a tribute. Okay, my hat goes off to you because in order to get this down quickly or efficiently, you need to know every single chapter like the back of your hand. Okay, and in some parts of this, it still confuses me slightly, even though I've played this game so many times. In preparing for this achievement, it's still, some parts confuse me a little bit. Now here in this section here, see, look, I go through and then I slide here. Normally what would happen here is you would wait for the janitor to come through and go through that door. But I'm going to show you something that's really cool that saves you a lot of time, because I guarantee you if I waited here for him to move out of the room, I would not have gotten this achievement. Okay, and I want to stress that, okay? This part here is very important. Now, I don't know if you can go right now, just run across to the right side and climb onto those boards. But right now I go as he's going through the door and I run. It saves you so much time. Like I said, I don't know if I could have gone a bit earlier there, but, is what it is. Now there, you want to try and slide in there. Slide before you get there and sort of turn so you can sort of circle your way into it. It'll help you in conserving quite a bit of time, okay? And for these hunger sections here, there's not much you can do in these, like, hunger pain sections. So, like, when Six is hungry, you can't really do much. She just sort of stops. But in these sections here, you can just start jumping. You can't sprint, but you can just jump, okay? Jumping will help you a lot. So look here. I can move again, and I'll just start jumping. But once the third part here comes, you can no longer jump. But in any case, you're not really going to be jumping because you're going to wait for this kid to give you his piece of bread. So also, I'm unsure if these parts here where you're waiting, I'm unsure if they count toward the time. I don't know. Like the cutscenes as well. I don't know if they count toward the time. And there was also Shadow 6 up there, if you saw him. Anyway, so once that's over, we can go. You'll see me getting stuck quite a bit, and it really frustrated me through all my attempts here. I think by far the worst chapter to go through out of this entire thing was definitely the first one. Because it was just so boring, and the platforming and everything was just... It was a pain in the ass, okay, so... That's why I probably despise this chapter the most out of this entire, I guess you could say, speedrun here. Although this isn't a speedrun, this is just trying to get the game done in under an hour. I've seen people speedrun this game in like 30 minutes. I don't know how they do it. But yeah. So thankfully it was timed right there. This was one of the parts where I died. And you'll see that at the end of the video. Like I said, I'll include some of my deaths there. Some of my most ridiculous deaths at the end. The deaths that made me question existence. Question my sanity. Anyway. So, these parts here, you can't really do much. You just have to wait for these contraptions to work and for these things to get into place before you can move. It's a bit frustrating, but, it is what it is. The boss fights are not too bad in this. Like the boss fight with the janitor was done, I think, in under a minute. It really wasn't that long. It didn't take me quite long. It didn't take me a long time at all. Okay. Oh yeah, and by the way, this achievement only requires you complete the base game in under an hour. Not the DLC, just the base game. Now this part here actually frustrated me quite a bit on my attempts before this, because when Six tries to pull something toward herself, when you stop, there's a brief moment where you're still pushing onto the thing, and if you try and jump forward, she'll just push the thing forward, and you won't jump, you'll just it'll waste time, basically. And that part there is a prime example of that. It really frustrated me. So just be careful of that. This section right here is a bit of a rest, you know. You can't really do much. If you drop down, you will die, you know, and you got to restart everything. So this is a bit of a rest to gather yourself, you know, get your bearings in order, and, you know, think about your life choices. But, you know, that's the most frustrating thing about this section here. I mean, this achievement is that if you die, you have to restart from the very beginning. Meaning that if you get to the last chapter, and let's say the lady kills you, she catches you and she kills you, even if it's by accident, you gotta restart. And trust me, when I was in the last chapter, I was like, okay, do not screw up. I do not want to go through this again. I'm right here, please. And I was shaking. Thankfully, I did it here. The only parts that I died on, like only chapters that I died on, were the first and second chapters. The rest, I wouldn't say no problem, but I did them without dying. And I was quite happy. Okay, so we're coming up to the end of the chapter here. So, just gotta wait here for these things to move. I think you can jump this. That's what I do here, but I'm pretty sure you can jump a bit earlier. Not 100% sure. Okay, so got that done in about 12 minutes. And the next chapters will take you quite a while, even if you're just speedrunning and not getting any of the gnomes. Oh yeah, very important. Make sure you get all the achievements first, okay? Complete the game complete the game and get all the achievements first before you do anything else, or try to even attempt to get this achievement right here, okay? Because you can't really waste any time hugging gnomes, lighting lanterns, nothing like that. You need to be quick. Okay. And I think I did mention that while you are running out of stamina and stuff, just jump. Okay. Jump, like I said, jumping can get you along faster and a lot farther than just normal sprinting can. Especially if you are running out of stamina. Now here, before I drop down that bed, I just push this door open first, because when you get the key, you want that door to be open, because when you have the key, trying to push it open while just walking into it is frustrating. Okay, so open the door first, not a whole lot, just enough so you can get through, because you know you don't want to waste time. Okay, so here, just jump and get the key. As you can see here, I'm wasting time because of the stupid ass controls. Just grabbing whatever, you know, whatever's there except for the key, you know. Anyway, we'll go through and make our way to this door. The janitor in this can be quite frustrating, because sometimes, or the janitor and the chefs, they can be quite frustrating while trying to get this achievement, because sometimes they can just decide to stand still and not ever move, and it's quite frustrating. Okay. Okay, oh yeah. Also, remember to grab this monkey and hold onto it. Okay, hold onto it, because you need him in here to get the elevator going. One of my previous playthroughs that I did, or attempts that I did of this, I forgot the monkey, and it wasted a whole bunch of time. I'm talking at least 5 seconds. And trust me, that is a massive amount of time while attempting this. Okay, so go. And the hunger section coming up here, which you can't do much about. Again, once you stop having like these hunger pangs, then you can just start jumping like this. Not much you can do about these. And then after this third time, like I said, you can do nothing. So after this one right here, you can no longer jump, you can just walk. And it's quite frustrating. Because, you know, at this point I was already 15 minutes into the thing and I was like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time. You know, and I really started to think that as I got through chapter 3. Chapter 3, I was like, I'm not gonna get this, definitely. There's no way. And you'll see as we get going. But like I said, I don't think the cutscenes and like these sort of sections here count. Because there's not much you can do about them. They just sort of happen, you can't skip them or anything. Now this part over here is a bit annoying because you have to wait for the janitor to take that cage, you know, away. You gotta wait for it to go quiet first before you can even start moving. And at this point I was flicking my analog stick rapidly trying to get 6 to get up. Okay. So we're going, immediately grab this cage over here. Because we need to jump onto this thing. Jump and grab. And it's also swing across. I think I could have actually jumped over there, but I didn't want to chance anything. And also you can see that the controls were screwing me up over there. Very, very annoying. You kind of just gotta hope and pray that the controls don't screw you over while you're playing this. This part here is really easy, okay? You just sprint, okay? You haul ass through here, and that's all you do, because jump, he won't hear you. Jump, jump, and keep running. Slide into this, and then you've got it, okay? All what you got to do now is grab this thing and put it into, grab this crank, put it into the socket over here. Now, I want to be facing toward the vent shaft when I do this. Put it in. And just make sure you turn it till about there, and you can let go, okay? Because it still goes up a little bit before it starts closing. So you don't have to open it all the way. You could have actually gone a bit earlier there if you wanted to, okay? Now I think we're coming up to the section here with the shoes. Yes, this part here really, really pissed me off. As you can see, the game sort of froze there for a second. And for some reason here, 6 wasn't cooperating with me. She just wouldn't jump, she wouldn't grab onto anything. You can see here, sort of just stands there. And here especially, she goes over here and she just stands. See there? I was really terrified at that point. And here as well. You can see I'm trying to jump. Because I was a bit nervous. Because she didn't do it that side, so I thought, you know, let me just try jump earlier. It didn't work. So yeah, this part here, I waited just a smidgen because I needed some stamina, because this is where the janitor comes and chases you again. I didn't want to run out of stamina before I had the chance to get into the elevator to the right. So I waited a little bit, wasted some time, but it's fine. Okay. Unfortunately, though, I think this section here does count toward the total time for this achievement, total game time, because it's not really a cutscene. You can't really do anything here. I mean, it's not a cutscene. The game's still going. You know, you can just tell the difference. So I'm pretty sure this counts toward the time for your attempt, which is a bit annoying, but you know, it is what it is. It makes it a little bit more of a challenge. And let me tell you, this is definitely one of the most difficult challenges I've done in any game I've played before. But you know, like I said, all the achievements are pretty easy except for this one. Because all of them you can just look up a walkthrough for, and then, you know, you've got it. Look up a walkthrough and take your time doing it. It's fine. This one here, you need skill, precision, and like skills and skills, precision, patience, and willpower. Yeah, and there you want to wait a little bit before he goes up there, otherwise he will hear you. Now here I actually got a bit lucky. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I was so nervous at this point, I decided to just start running like that, and I was really cutting it close here, because as you can see he's still there, and he starts filling up this cupboard, and I'm still there, and I just missed it there. I was shitting myself as I was climbing up there. I was shouting at Six to hurry up because I didn't want to repeat everything. So yeah, just be very careful. This part here is pretty easy. Again, just run. He can't hear you here, so run as fast as you want, make as much noise as you want. It's fine, he will not hear you. Okay, run. Slide, do the same tactic I told you in my initial walkthrough. Grab the shoe, and now here, because the music was playing and my fan was going because it was really fucking hot, I couldn't hear the game properly, so I just sort of waited and watched him for that to happen. And then I threw the shoe at that button, and I just started running, okay? I could have actually thrown it a bit earlier, but I didn't know when the bells were going to ring, or when the clocks were going to chime, so I waited a little bit. So it cost me a bit of time, but, we made it through. Now this part here actually was one of my most frustrating deaths, because I had gotten to this section here, and the janitor was up there, and I dropped down behind him, and he heard me, and I freaked out, and I thought he was going to come chase me. But if I just calmed down and stayed away from him, he wouldn't have grabbed me. He would have just carried on. If I just stayed on this bookshelf here, I would have been fine. But I jumped away, and I fell to my death, and you'll see that at the end of the video. So wait for him to go a little bit further away, because if you're right behind him when you jump down, he will hear you. Okay? But otherwise, this part here, he should never hear you. Especially if you're careful whilst maneuvering through these shelves. He shouldn't ever hear you. You shouldn't make any noise. So I'll show you what I mean. So here you're going to want to wait a little bit. Here you have to wait, because he's going to be filling up the shelves and stuff, and these planks of wood, feeling around for anything, as you can see. So here you have to wait, unfortunately. Once he starts moving, you can go, because he won't hear you. But be very careful. You have a little bit more room to maneuver around those things than you think you do. So, but also be very careful not to fall off, because when you fall off, you die. Okay, so carefully maneuver in between those things, so you don't knock anything off. Do not alert him, because it'll make your attempt a whole lot more difficult. Okay, so now jump on these books. Again, he shouldn't hear you at all. And then turn on this TV. As you can see, controls are screwing me up here. By the way, this song always freaks me out. There's no words. There aren't any words in the song. It's just phonemes. And I think this sort of adds to the creepiness. Alright, now go. He can still hear you though, I'm pretty sure. So once you hear on this carpet, make sure you are just a little bit more careful. I didn't want him to hear me at all, so I just stayed crouching, crouch sprinting all the way to here, and go through here to take the shortcut. Stay crouching, and now we can go ahead and run. This spot here is fine. Really isn't any stress whatsoever. He does hear you here, but you have a little bit more time to avoid him than you think you do, okay? But also the trick here is, as soon as you stop cranking that thing, run toward the piano. Okay, run toward the piano as soon as it comes up, because it's already like just in front of you when you jump. Otherwise, you'll fall to your death. Now here, take this cot, because when I played this, one of my deaths was over here, and I was so pissed off because I was sort of, I don't know, I zoned out. I think I got more into the music than I did in the game, and I just sort of zoned out while playing. That I just walked into the steam and died. And you'll see that as well. I was so livid. I just put the game down. I put my controller down, put the game off, and I just walked away for a little bit. You know, had a glass of water and came back a little bit later on. Okay. Now here I should have been sprinting to get to the other side of the minecart a bit quicker. But you know, is what it is. Now here, thankfully I remembered that if you let go of that door handle before it swings fully open, you drop to your death. Thankfully I remembered that. Thankfully. Otherwise I would have been very pissed off if I had dropped to my death there. Now this part here is where the janitor comes and reaches inside these vent pipes. Like right here. So I wait for him to get his hand up there and start caressing that pole, and then I move away from him very quickly. And we're coming up to the end of the second chapter here, which, you know, really wasn't that bad. I just wanted to be sure. So here, just start running. Okay, I didn't care about my stamina at this point. I just kept running. Slide in, and you know, like my original tactic in the first walkthrough, or the original walkthrough I did here. Go up here, jump, and then pull. This boss fight will be over within under a minute, okay? No stress whatsoever. The only annoying part is waiting for him to move his hands out the way. That's the only annoying part about this whole thing. There we go. Once he's done, you'll get knocked over, but that's fine, because that happens. So then just run, and then climb up, and then there we go. And we've made it. Okay, so now we're starting off chapter 3 here, and at this point in time I was sort of getting a bit worried with my time. I was questioning if I would be able to make it. I was questioning, you know, I was sort of debating whether or not to just restart the whole thing and get a better time, because, you know, it was already half an hour into this, and I didn't want to wait a little bit long, because I think also if I'd waited there, instead of grabbing onto that hook as soon as I could, I would have probably not been able to get the achievement. This chapter I think took me the longest because the chefs are very unpredictable in how they move. So you'll see me a lot in this chapter just sort of waiting for the chefs to just get out my way, so I can safely move around. There's another hunger section right here. I think here you can only move, you can only jump once. After like the second hunger pang, then you can't really do anything else. You just sort of, oh no, wait, okay, cool, we can still jump. But here it stops, so now we have to just slowly walk to the rat to eat it. I still love the music, by the way. Music, you know, I have a playlist on Spotify for different things. So I have my main playlist with all my main music on it, and I've got a second playlist with like classical music and like video game music that I really like. But they must have that sort of classical feel to it. So I've got basically the whole soundtrack of Little Nightmares here on that playlist. But that wasn't what I was playing while I was playing this. I wasn't playing my classical playlist. I was just playing normal music. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and speed things up a little bit, or I try to at least. But you know, this part, at this point I was so nervous, I didn't want to die. Because actually, this was like the furthest I had ever come while trying to attempt, while attempting this achievement. This was the furthest I'd ever been, so all the parts where I died while attempting this achievement had always been before chapter 3. So from this point on to the end of the game was one take. Okay, so from chapter 3, 4, and 5, I did it in one attempt. I didn't die once for this achievement, which I'm actually quite proud of. So, you can imagine I was quite nervous while trying to get through this. Especially when 6 just, gets stuck on random bullshit like that. I was so angry at that point because I thought he was going to, like, reach under the table and grab me. Because he saw me. And see, he just decides whenever he wants to just stand still and look around or cough or something. So here, I know he's going to go over to the pot over here. And then once he moves back, that's when I take my leave and go. So right here. I didn't bother waiting, I just went. Because he won't notice you. If you're quick about it, he won't notice you at all. Try and move away from those jars. You don't want to drop them to the floor, because he will notice you. Not that he can do much, but I don't know. I just prefer not doing it. But here, I do knock this jar over by accident. That jar should have shattered. All it did was make a sound like it just fell on the floor. It didn't shatter at all, which is quite interesting. Anyway, I didn't want to fall down here. That's why I was crouching like that. Like I said, I was so nervous and so scared of dying at this point because I had put in so many attempts before this that I just wanted to get this done, and thankfully I did. Anyway, I knew this part was going to be pretty easy because there was I wasn't hugging any gnomes, I wasn't getting any lanterns or anything like that, so I just went full speed mode on this one. I didn't worry about the noise I was making because I knew it wouldn't matter because he's sleeping. So it was fine. Alright. Run, jump, slide, go. Here we go. I just noticed now he's sleeping on the wrong side of the bed. Because if you look at the painting over there, the chef that we encountered just before this should be sleeping on the left bed, and he should have been sleeping on the right bed, judging by their paintings. Just a random observation that I made. It seems pretty obvious now, but yeah, whatever. Alright, so head straight to the elevator so we can get out of here. Like I said, half an hour into this already, I was worried I wasn't going to make it. Especially waiting for these gates to open was so frustrating. Very, very annoying. There, I think I actually got very lucky there, where he didn't see me. Because I didn't know where he was, so I just assumed, okay, he mustn't be here. So I just went. It's like there, he could have seen me. But I just got very lucky. And I could have gone, he wouldn't have seen me otherwise. But I wanted to wait for him to go back before I did anything. So like right now he goes. That's when I take my chance. Because the thing is, I'm holding a key, and you run a lot slower with the key, and you can't really do anything while holding objects, so I was very, very careful with how I was playing it here. That's why this chapter took me so long to do. But here I just booked it straight to the door to open up the lock, and I just went through. I went for it. I don't think he heard me there, to be honest. Now here, I don't know why I did this. I could have just jumped straight into that little elevated thing from the ground. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly. I don't know why I jumped on the table first to jump in there, but you know I did, so it's what it is. Also there I should have stopped, gone around, and then pushed it off instead of falling to the floor first because it wasted my time. And like these controls right here also wasting my time because they just, you know, yeah, every time I'd fall down to a low level than the piece of meat, I would let go of it. And like they also waste of time. I should have waited a little bit longer to swing and then jump and then grab onto that piece of meat. Like that. Anyway, once that was done, just brought this over to the thing. As you can see, I got stuck there. Another waste of time. Not much to say about this part here because it's pretty straightforward. Although I did figure out a trick here for this sausage train right here. I figured out a trick. So when you jump, it'll sort of wiggle a little bit. As it's wiggling, pull back and it'll give you like a little whip motion to bring you back faster so you can swing further forward. And then you can just do it in one swing. If you understand what I'm saying, if that makes sense. Okay. Now this part here also, I got a bit nervous. I forgot what to do. So I thought that the chef was gonna come in automatically, but I forgot that you have to just pull down this thing. I didn't wait long enough there, so that was a waste of time. So yeah, I wasted a bit of my time there. It's unfortunate, but you know, is what it is. And this part here really annoyed me because it took a lot longer than I remember it taking. You know? Because he stands there for like 5 years just staring at the cheese. Just get out of my way, you fat ass. Just move. Anyway. Again, waiting for these things to open and then trying to jump up on here, but it not doing anything was really pissing me off. Yeah, and look there, he decides to just stop right there and scratch his face, and wasting my time even more. And look there, he just stops again to look around. That's what I mean by you gotta get lucky with how the chefs, there we go, how the chefs decide they wanna move around and act and stuff. Anyway, he goes forward and we can go through. This part here really pissed me off because I couldn't see myself and wasted so much time here because I got stuck on something that I couldn't even see. So here I'm trying to move to the left. As you can see, I think I got stuck on one of the legs of the table there. It wasted so much time. But, you know, it was fine. Afterward, I managed to get out of there relatively quickly. Okay. So push that and then we go. Now again, I really messed up there not starting into that hole more efficiently, but You know, again, doesn't really matter. You know, this door taking so long to open was really making me nervous because, you know, this chef here tends to come down from the elevator relatively quickly, okay? So I was getting very angry. I was swearing at the game, telling it to hurry up, telling it to fix its shit because, um, you know, it shouldn't be doing this. So, once I came up to this part here, I knew we were coming to the end of the chapter here, and I was so thrilled that I was going to be done with this, but I knew that this section here was coming, and, you know, if you've seen my initial walkthrough for this, my original walkthrough for this, you'll know that I had quite a bit of trouble with this section right here. I had quite a bit of trouble. I said that it gave me quite a lot of grief getting through because I kept getting unlucky with the end part. Okay. So look, they just get stuck on each other and waste even more time. Just waiting for these idiots to move. See, he just stands dead, not moving at all and wasting my time. Now here, I wasted a bit more time because I thought they heard me. Meanwhile, they didn't. Because again, I couldn't hear anything. I had music playing, so I couldn't hear anything. I sort of relied on what I was seeing. Anyway, so once I realized that they weren't coming in, I moved, waited for him to move away first, then I went out from hiding. But I knew that this would get their attention. And I moved very carefully here, so he didn't see me. And the thing is, he does look down under the table here, but he never sees me. So yeah, I'm not sure why he does that if he doesn't see me. Because he could have very easily seen me there, so I don't get that. But yeah, anyway. That right there also really pissed me off when it happened because he could have turned around and spotted me. But yeah. And at that moment there, I decided at the very last minute to just go for it because I saw that there was nobody there. I was going to hide initially, but I saw that there was nobody there. And I had a look at the time, at my timer, and saw, you know, how I was doing with time. And it wasn't that good, so I decided to just make a dash for it. I remembered to land on the plates there, like I said in my walkthrough. Now here my heart was racing because I remember this was the moment where I died quite a few times, and I just did the same trick that I did the first time. I mean, when I did my first walkthrough for this, I did the same trick. And again, I was nervous here. I didn't want to stand up and risk falling off the edge. So I just crouched in there and slowly made my way through that hole there. And here is just a very long interval session which really frustrated me while I was playing this because I was like, why can this not go any faster? Why did they make this so big and expensive? I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense for the, you know, your first playthrough, but when you're trying to get the heart of the core achievement, which requires you to finish the game in under an hour, and you need speed and time to be efficient, you know, these kind of areas and scenes are not your friend. Especially here when you can just easily fall into the ocean. But thankfully I didn't. Alright, so thankfully that was over. You know, I had nothing to say about that. That's why I stayed quiet throughout the entire thing. I had nothing to add to that. Nothing at all. Because it was just like a filler section. So I really wanted it to be over as soon as possible. Now here also wasted quite a bit of my time because I was trying to jump through there and it wasn't working. Very, very, very annoying. I guarantee you, if any of these moments here were a little bit longer than what they were, I wouldn't have gotten this achievement. I'm pretty sure I just got it by the skin of my teeth. I just got it. Now, Chapter 4 and Chapter 5 were pretty much smooth sailing. Chapter 5 especially was no problem at all. But here, the very last section was what really made me shit myself, okay? I was stressing big time at that part, but getting up to that section wasn't that bad. I was relatively quick in getting to them. Sorry. Now here also I stop a little bit to conserve stamina, because I knew it was coming up. And as you can see, she slowed down there because she was walking on glass, and this part here, I should have started jumping because it would have given me a bit more of a spatial advantage, but I was really scared that he was going to grab me or eat me. So, yeah, again, that's why I say you don't want to be stuck walking slow through any like broken glass or puddles of any kind. So after the second swing here, that's when you jump. You'll make it, it's fine. Saves you a lot of time as well. I guarantee you, if I had done a third swing, I would have most definitely not been able to get the achievement. This section here, same tactic, just jump away, you'll be fine. Also, a very important thing is that jumping here saps your stamina very quickly. Okay, it drinks it. So, be very mindful of that. But like I said, jumping is your friend, basically. Speedrunners do it a lot. You'll see them doing it a lot, like just jumping all the time. Here is no stress whatsoever, just run, jump, swing, and then jump again. Very quick and easy. Now this part here, I did kind of stuff up a little bit. You'll see what I mean now as we get to it. So here, I jump there, and he almost grabbed me. Look right there. He almost grabbed me. I actually screamed out loud as he swiped at me because I thought I literally thought I was gonna die. I would have been so mad. Also, I'm pretty sure you've noticed throughout my attempt here, I've been pausing the game at random intervals. That's just because I was changing music. Okay, so I don't think there's anything like any tactic involved with that. I don't think there is, but I'm just pausing things randomly there because I was changing music. Okay. So that's all I was doing. Anyway, go ahead and grab this thing, like the mirror, like, you know, usual. Nothing much else has changed over here. And now... Oh yeah, no. Sorry, I was thinking of a different section. It's fine. Now here also a bit of time was wasted because I was struggling to get down. But afterwards, you know, we managed. Now we can head up and go to the right. Previously, in my walkthrough, I went to the left first. But now we're gonna go to the right. So I should have stopped over there. a little bit to take a rest, but also at the same time I'm glad I didn't, because I still managed to make it, but it would have allowed me to be a lot faster here, okay? Because this part here, I almost died, and you'll see exactly where I almost died, okay? I was really like getting very lucky here and cutting it very, very finely with how close they were to me here. I should have been jumping is what I should have been doing. So here, you'll see what I mean. Look, I jump here, and she stops. Look at how close I was. I remember I was screaming and going, no, 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 no. But as you can see, jumping really helped me here. Like it did in the first... I mean, not the first... Fuck, man. Like it did in my walkthrough. It helped me a lot. And so here we have another hunger section. The last one to go through. Oh, sorry, the second last one. Again, this really, screwed up with my time. Really, really, it did. Because I couldn't, as you can see there, I didn't really jump because I couldn't really jump. I did try to, but, it wasn't happening, so that was that. That's all I could do. Now, at this point here, I looked down at the timer to see how much time I had left, and I saw it was like 10 minutes, not even, and I was like, ooh, fuck, I hope I'm able to do this. I really hope so. Again, I was debating if I should just restart it, but I stuck it through. And waiting for this elevator really, really made me angry because it just took so long to get up here. Anyway, that's the end of the 4th chapter. We're going to the last chapter here. And now here's where I really started to speed things up because I think I had less than 10 minutes left here. I was really, really worried I wasn't going to do it. Like I said, So I just booked it. Because I was thinking, with all that was happening, there was no way I could have done this in under, like, 10 minutes. I don't think I did. But yeah, I was very careful not to get too close to her. Because I swear, if I had died to her right there, I would have broken everything in sight. Okay. And again, she won't hear you if you're running. She doesn't pay any attention to you unless you get too close to her. And she kills you. But thankfully, we are good. And basically here, it is just free sailing from here. We don't have to worry about anything else. We just run. Again, no dodging. I mean, no dolls to break, nothing like that, so we just move. At this point, like I said, I was looking down at like I said, I had very little time left, but I kept looking down at the stopwatch. And I rested here because I knew she was going to come. I remember this moment. I needed as much stamina as I could. I didn't want to slow down and have her kill me. And right there, I thought she was going to actually kill me. But thankfully she didn't. I breathed a very loud sigh of relief when I saw that I made it through there and she hadn't gotten me. Very, very happy that I didn't die there. And here I start jumping because I couldn't be bothered to wait to gain more stamina, so I just kept jumping because I knew I was running out of time. And once I got the mirror here, I sort of just calmed down a little bit. Because I knew that at this point, there was nothing more that I could do than just wait for her to, you know, get into her emotions, you know. Wait for the battle to commence. So there's nothing more than I could do there. So I just waited. Let me tell you something. While I was doing this last section here, I was shaking a lot. I was trying very hard to stay calm and not drop my controller, so I could stay on the ball and stay focused. It's taking me so long to get this. On this particular day, I had done so many attempts over so many hours, and it was burning me out. And I wanted this to actually said to myself, this will be the last one. If I die here, I turn it off. And thankfully, I actually did it. So on my last attempt that I set myself for the day, I managed to do it. So yeah, I was understandably nervous. And these sections really irritated me. Because, you know, it just wasted more time seeing her float back and forth like that. And I knew this was the last one, and I was so happy that I had done her, you know, finished her off like that. I'd done the boss fight, finished off. And yeah, this part here, you can't really do anything. You gotta wait for 6 to get up, which wastes time. Again, I'm not sure if the cutscenes count toward the time. Really don't know. But yeah, you can't jump here, so you sort of slowly walk and then you stop dead here. Right there. It was very, very annoying. So yeah, I honestly don't think that the cutscenes here count toward the time, because if it did, I don't think I would have gotten this. You know, the achievement would have been long gone by now. So I think they realized that they couldn't count the cutscenes and stuff like that toward the time. Because it just they take so long to, you know, get done and then get back into the game or gameplay, you know? And this part also felt a bit longer to me than the first time because, you know, I was very impatient and I was nervous and I wanted to get this done. So when I started flashing like that, I'm like, can this please just hurry up? This is a lot longer than it took the last time. So, yeah. And here you can't do anything. You can't do anything about the speed she walks or anything like that, so it is what it is. She just walks at this pace. I didn't dare stop here because, you know, I kept looking down at my stopwatch here, and I think I had less than a minute to get from here to the end there. So yeah, this is the end of the game right here, okay? You walk up these stairs, and there's a point where you walk up these stairs where you'll lose control of 6, and she'll just start walking by herself. And then once you see the eye on the bottom right corner of the screen appear, the game is finished. And there's the achievement right there. So I was very excited, very happy when I saw that. And I just put the controller down, and I just sat back and relaxed. And waited for this to finish. So yeah. I'm very glad I was able to do it. Honestly, I can't tell you how I did it. Because I was so sure that I wasn't going to be able to get the achievement. I thought it was going to be, too late to get it. Is what it is, But yeah, so that's the end of the Heart of the Core achievement video. I hope this helped you gain a better understanding of how to go ahead and get this achievement. Be very careful with time here, okay? I cannot stress enough how important it is to manage your time well in this thing, okay? Take shorter breaks in between certain sessions here, okay? You need to be, like I said, you need to know these levels like the back of your hand. Know what's coming next, know the patterns of the characters and stuff. Well, not really know that, because that's not really important. I didn't know that, and I still got it. But, you need to have a good understanding of this game to get this achievement done the right way. But yeah, I don't have anything more to say. I've said all that I wanted to say about this in my walkthrough for this game. Thanks guys for watching this video on Heart to the Core achievement. By far, one of the most difficult achievements I've gotten in any game so far. And yeah, I'm glad I've gotten every achievement of this game, and I can move on to the second game, which I'll play at some other time. But for now, thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm out.